Okay. I just wanted to welcome you all and thank you for joining the call tonight for Taking Healthy Back to School. As a quick note, we're going to be offering some free resources at the end of the call, so be sure to stick with us all the way to the end so that you can get those resources. We, your hosts tonight, are a group of women that are on a mission to better the health of our children and children everywhere. With school starting very soon, here locally it'll be Wednesday, we wanted to give you help you give your students the best chance to thrive at school. Good nutrition helps to support a child's immune system, and it helps to keep them in school instead of at home sick or having to go to the doctor's office. The added value to the family can be less money spent on co-pays or parents not suffering any loss of income due to having to stay home with that sick child. It also helps the child to be more successful in school if they're actually in school instead of absent. My name is Kim. I've raised 4 kids. 2 of my kids are married with children of their own, and my youngest 2 are in college. Thank goodness I don't have to pick school lunches anymore, but I do have grandkiddos, and I like to have good food here for them that's quick and easy, so when they come to visit. So all the tips that we're giving is pertinent to empty nesters, working moms, anybody that works, actually anybody that eats. It's pertinent to them. My journey to healthier foods began when my daughter was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. She missed 75 days of school the first year that she was diagnosed. To say that she struggled a bit trying to stay caught up in her work was an understatement. So I definitely know the value of a child actually being in school. Good nutrition is an important component of living that healthy lifestyle. We know that nutrition affects students' thinking skills, behaviors, and health, which in turn impacts their academic performance. So, what kind of food is the right kind of food to help your student? We'll get to that, but first I want to give you just a tad bit of background information on school-provided lunches and breakfasts. The National School Lunch Program was created in 1946 and now serves 31 million American children. Schools participating in this program receive cash subsidies from the USDA for each meal served. In turn, schools must serve lunches that meet federal nutrition requirements. This slide that Courtney just put up shows what the Healthy, Hungry-Free Kid Act of 2010 required the USDA to upgrade the federal nutrition standards to for the school meals. These rules went into effect July 1st, 2010, and some of the standards were phased in over time. Whole grains, it says if the foods were not well accepted by the students, that the school could get a waiver for meeting that requirement. In May of 2017, there was a USDA proclamation that announced the department's plan to continue to whole grain, sodium, and milk flexibilities. So what that means is that these guidelines that the schools are supposedly have to live by, they don't mean anything because they can get waivers for them. So school breakfasts and lunches can still be full of fat, sodium, and sugar. So what can you offer your kids to support them throughout the school day that might be better for them than what the government has to offer? Well, that's why we're here tonight. I would like to introduce you to Ashley Sams, who will be discussing starting the kiddos off with a healthy breakfast. Ashley?
Awesome, thank you, Kim. So tonight I'm going to demonstrate how to make overnight oats. They're super simple and easy, just a couple ingredients. And the ones that I'll be making are chocolate brownie batter overnight oats. So I'm just going to flip my screen around and show you all of my beautiful ingredients that I will be making this with. So you need a mason jar. You need a smaller mason jar than this, but unfortunately this is the only one I could find tonight. But as you can see, all of my ingredients are plant-based. They're gluten-free, dairy-free. They are full of fiber and protein. So this is a great breakfast. You can even use it as a snack too, but right now we're kind of focusing on breakfast ideas. And I encourage you to make 2 to 3 at a time because you can keep these in your fridge for a couple of days. And then, and depending on how many children you have too, of course. And I'm using chia seeds. That adds more protein and fiber. And I also add some raw cacao. And usually I like to sweeten mine with a fresh banana. I just smush up my banana, but I don't have a fresh banana. I just have frozen ones. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of honey. And I love to add some almond butter too. And then, and you basically just literally mix everything together. And I do have a secret ingredient that I like to add to my overnight oats, and it's called Juice Plus Complete Shake. It's Dutch chocolate. That just adds more extra nutrients and more protein and more fiber to start my day off right. And again, so I just mix all the nutrients. Yeah, you are mixing all the nutrients together. You are just mixing all the ingredients together, and you're gonna put it in your fridge, and you can do this right before you go to bed. Super simple. And then the next morning you're gonna wake up, and I like to eat mine cold. So I just get it out of the fridge, stir it up a little bit, and I add fresh bananas and fresh berries to mine, along with like some walnuts and almonds and things like that if you like it a little crunchy. And that's that. And also you can even heat it up if you want, but I encourage you to warm it up over the stove. Please do not microwave it, as that will zap the nutrients, and that's going to zap all your hard work that you just got done preparing. So please warm it up over the stove. And also, so, you know, and this is something to substitute instead of a Pop-Tart, which is something that is very sugar laden and it has little nutritional value to it, like a Pop-Tart. And so what does sugar do? Sugar suppresses the immune system, and we don't need to do that to our children, do we? We want to start their day out, start it off right. We want to make sure that they have increased energy. We want them to stay full longer. We want them to have better concentration throughout the day. And breakfast is a huge component of that. And I'm all about plant-based meals because of everything that I just mentioned. You know, it has antioxidants, nutrients and protein and fiber and things like that, which will help sustain our children in their every single day, whether they do sports and things like that. And so, you know, and if you don't have time to prepare, or your morning was horrible and everything went wrong that morning, what I do is I just get a shaker cup, use my favorite plant-based milk or just water, and I use my favorite plant-based shake powder mix. Shake it up, and your kids can drink it on the way to school or daycare, and there you go. At least you know they're getting nutrients within themselves. Well, I don't have kids, but I do know that I'm preparing my body for healthy ones. You know, with every day I'm incorporating healthy foods with me and my husband's lifestyle habits, and I'm hoping to teach and encourage others to do the same. And so that is overnight oats, and there's the picture of them, or the jars. And so I am going to, oh, thank you, yes. That's what they should look like, the smaller jars. And you can mix it up with different blends. Like if I were to, instead of chocolate, I would have done like my vanilla protein powder with like the raspberries or mangoes. That probably would be good. Chocolate would be good too with either or. But so that's just different combinations you can try. You don't have to stick with what I made. But now I'm going to turn it over to Courtney, as she is another mom on a mission to help her kids stay healthy and be healthy. She's going to talk about lunch ideas and planning.
Well, hi. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm so excited to share some information with you. And thank you to Ashley. Chocolate overnight oats sounds delicious. I don't know about anybody else, but most women love chocolate. I'm a big fan. So I love those ideas. So with lunches, you know, packing school lunches, this can be challenging, or packing lunches in general can be really challenging, especially if you're looking to provide a variety of healthy snacks. So I have 3 tips for this. And as I'm talking about it, I'm going to show you a couple of things as well. So tip number 1 is to get a lunchbox with built-in compartments. That way you don't have to worry about any type of baggies or containers with the lids to remember, you know, like how to keep up with, planning on the kids to remember that. Now, you can get that. Some people, you might see these bento style lunch boxes. Those can be costly, but you can find cheaper versions of that, or you can make your own. I don't know about anybody else's kids, but my kids have some kind of fascination with Lunchables. And I think it's because it's like fun little finger stuff, and it might also be because there's a snack in it. So, so I like to make our own Lunchables. This is a container that I actually got off of Amazon. You can buy it really cheap in bulk. And then I get little silicone cupcake holders, and you can use those because then they're easy to just wash and reuse, so you're not having to throw away trash and buy more. You can rearrange them however you want. You can even use one for dips if you have like some fruit or veggies and you want to put in hummus or some type of dressing, or you want to put in almond butter, peanut butter, whatever your dip of choice is. It's all about finding a balance. So there are kids, my son especially, he's 8. And we homeschool. I homeschool both of my children. They're 8 and 4.5. My 8-year-old is known as a picky eater. He's always been picky, but we find a balance. So I always put in something that I know he'll eat, and then I introduce a new food. So that's just one suggestion. This comes with a plastic top that just clicks right on there. They come in different sizes, super easy to use. The second tip that I have is to prepare a week's worth of various ingredients in advance, and then you can store it in the refrigerator for easy night before assembly. I like involving kids whenever possible, because I found that the more that I involve them in the food that we eat, the more likely they are to actually try it. They're proud of it, whether they're helping grow it on our tower garden, whether they're helping make the bags, whatever it is. It's fantastic. So one idea, everybody likes dollar store finds, at least I do, like all about the cheap and easy, right? So you can get these fun little containers at the dollar store. You can probably get them at Walmart, wherever. You can even use the type of those cabinets that have the plastic drawers. You can take out the drawers if you have those. And then what you can do is you create these little baskets, and I've made a couple little signs to show you. So this says there's 1, 2, and 3. So the idea is that we are technically supposed to be getting 7 to 13 fruits and veggies a day. And that's really hard, especially if you have a picky eater child or a picky eater husband, or, whatever. So what you do is the kids can help the night before or the week before. I like to do all my planning on Sundays because it's a lot calmer. Everybody's relaxed and chilled out. And so we can pre-make everything. And then, so if you have bags of grapes, you have bags of strawberries, whatever your fruit and veggies are, I'm going to give you a couple other ideas here in a second. But you can go ahead and pre-make those, and you put them into these little containers, and they'll slide right onto your shelf in the fridge. And because the idea is that we want the fresh food, right? So we're going to need to put it in there and only make it for a week. Then they get to either the night before or the morning of, they can go and look at their different signs, and they get to pick out. They can pick out one item from one basket. It tells them pick 2 items from this basket, pick 1 item from the third basket. The third basket can be a fun treat for them. Now for us, a couple of ideas that we like to do is we like our Juice Plus chewables. So I've got a fun little container of it, but we've got these big bags too. And what it is that means that they are getting at least 20 different whole foods a day. That's fantastic. We eat them as snacks. We don't take vitamins. This is what we take because it is whole food. So I don't have to worry about them overdosing on it, especially whenever we like to snack on it, or my dogs get a hold of it, or whatever. So you can actually put those, you can open them up, and you can put them into their little container because they're fruit. They look like fruit snacks. They're just healthier. They have less sugar, and they're whole food nutrition. So they think they're getting a special treat whenever you're actually sneaking in 20 other fruits and veggies. So we love that. Another thing that we love to do, now this is something that our local grocery store carries. It's their organic line. It's called Full Circle. And these are fruit strips. Now, these are great, except even though they're organic, a lot of times they're laden with a lot of sugar. That's just how it is. And so you can actually make your own fruit strips. You can dry them. If you have a dehydrator, you can dehydrate fruit. You can just blend it up into a blender. You get that whole food into a blender, and you pour it out. So it'll be a liquid or mushy form. You pour it onto your dehydrator and dehydrate that. Then you just roll them up and they can take it. You can also dehydrate it in your oven. There's a couple of different ways to do that. So that's a healthier version to this. But if you don't have time, just read the labels. Just make sure you're reading the labels. Then the last thing that we like to do for a healthy snack and something that will pop right in, you know, a lot of kids like granola bars. The problem with granola bars is that they're not always healthy. You do what you can when you can, but a lot of them have a lot of fillers in them or artificial this, enriched that. You don't want that stuff in your cake. You want to fuel their brain and their body for the day. So our personal favorite is the Juice Plus Complete bars. They are, there's two different ones. There's a tart cherry and honey, and there's a dark chocolate and fig. They are fantastic. I'm not even kidding. My daughter will eat them every Sunday at church. And it's whole food. Again, it's whole food. There's nothing else in there. It's just that food. And that gives them some additional nutrition for their brains. It's gluten and dairy free. They're non-GMO. They're low glycemic. So they're going to be a great on the go for my snack for my kid for lunch. If we're running, we don't have time for anything, we're going to do that. So maybe you have somebody else. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of salads in a jar. I love them. For kids, you don't have to make them quite as big as what I make as an adult. So I'm going to show you really quick. I've already pre-done all my ingredients. But the idea is that you're going to put your more softer ingredients on the bottom. So today I have blueberries and strawberries, and I just line them. And you know, for us, I'm gonna go ahead and do it while I'm chatting. So for us, I like to put things in there that I know the kids are going to like. That changes every day. I'm sure you guys can relate. One day my kid loves carrots, and the next day he thinks that they're from the devil. So, so you want to put stuff in that you know they're going to eat, but you, like I said earlier, you might want to just kind of sneak some other stuff in. My son went from being a chocolate milkaholic, and I'm not even exaggerating, to now he prefers water over everything else. He doesn't even drink chocolate milk anymore. He will at least try things, and that's all been because we've made one simple change after another. He has never, I also am putting in, by the way, I've put in my blueberries and strawberries, and I've got some baked coconut chips. You can do those really easily in your oven. But you can also do like nuts, you know, like I like almonds, I like walnuts, that kind of thing. So you just layer that in there. But my kids, like, they have just been fantastic. My son has only been on antibiotics one time in the 8 years of his life. And my daughter has never been on antibiotics. They don't really get the flu. We don't even get flu shots, and my kids just don't get sick. And if they do, we call it the Juice Plus flu, because everybody else is like laid up in bed for weeks, and we have 24 hours of being like, oh, my stomach hurts or my nose is kind of stuffy, and then they're running around like crazy. So what I just did is that I also put in some spinach of my choice, but you can do any green that you want. And you want to fill half the jar with greens. This is a little half pint size, so it's perfect for kids for their school lunches. You just pop it down in there. Now for dressings, you can actually put the dressings down on the bottom, or you can get containers, again, off Amazon, just like this, and they have a little container in the top that you can put the dressing in there and pop it in there. You can also get those small condiment type of lids or containers and stick them down in the jar. They'll fit down in there and tighten them up. If you pack that tight enough, it's going to last you a week. So it's fantastic. Then one last thing that you can do if you have a picky teenager like I was, I didn't even like eating breakfast or lunches or anything like that. You can actually send them with a shaker cup. You can get, I have these fun little individual size portions of my favorite protein powder, which happens to be the same as Ashley, and chocolate, go figure, but you can also do vanilla. And so you can do that, and they actually make small travel size, individual size containers of plant-based milk, whether it's almond milk, cashew milk, and that just goes in a lunchbox, and there you go. So it's really about just finding what works for you, whether it's getting those compartments, the lunches with the built-in compartments, preparing a week's worth, and then also having them choose having the children choose which foods they would like as options in their lunchbox from the list. I have an additional list I'll pull up here, but real quick, I'm going to show you this to get water into their system instead of sending those fruity drinks. I actually made this tonight. I was trying not to drink it all because it was so good, so I could show you guys. But what you can do, fruit infused water. You can get smaller containers. This is just the one that I use. I cut up some strawberries, fill it up with water. You can do that the night before. You can do the morning of. By the time they get to lunch, you've got some water going on here. So real quick, before I pass it off, I'm going to show you one last thing. If you want to, you can actually screenshot these or take a picture if it'll help. There's the overnight oats. Here's the ideas for the lunchbox. You can use different colored baking cups. Here's the salad in a jar. That's a great thing to screenshot. It explains to you how to build it because you're going to use those wet ingredients on the bottom, then moisture resistant, other veggies, protein, and then your greens and grains and that kind of stuff on the top. Then here's one more thing to screenshot. These are immune boosting foods. Now, some of these things I don't personally include in Our Lives just for personal preferences, but make sure that if you do use meats that you're using lean meats, organic, free range, that type of stuff. If you're using dairy, we prefer not to use dairy because it actually worsens the inflammation among other things, but make sure that it's hormone free, antibiotic free, that type of stuff. So that's a lot of information, I know, like really quick, but I hope that that gives you a few ideas just to kind of work with. It's just about making one simple change, planning ahead, plan the weekend before, get your stuff in order, and go for it. So with that, I am going to now turn it over to Lisa Newman, our resident farmer, and let her talk to you guys.
Hi, I'm Lisa, and I'm going to show you some simple, affordable, and healthy alternatives to the common sugar-laden foods that children tend to gravitate to. We need to do away with Pop-Tarts and Twinkies and chips and cookies and candy after school all the time. All it does is turns down their immune systems, and we need to replace those with ideas that are going to boost their immune systems. We need to build up our immune system so that they have immunities towards the flu and colds and viruses, because we all know when they tend to gravitate in big groups such as school, we're bound to be subjected to some of those things. Instead of flu shots, we need to focus on eating healthy food, put healthy things in our body, and I think our bodies can do it all by themselves. So the first item I am going to make is our energy bites, and we made some chocolate mint ones, and just for the sake of sanity and messiness, I went ahead and prepared these ahead of time instead of rolling my hands in all this. So what we have are just 5 simple ingredients. We've got oats, we have honey from our beehives, we have some mint extract, or we also use some fresh mint too, some almond butter, and then I used our favorite, just like the other ladies, our chocolate protein shake mix. You put all that into a bowl, mix it all up, roll your little balls out, and then I have some other oats separate that I kind of roll it into so they don't stick together. And I don't know if you can see that really well, but we've got lots of little balls there that we stick in the refrigerator, and they come and grab as they come home from school or whenever they need a midday snack. And I don't have to worry of saying, that's enough, you've had enough, and worried about the sugar content because it's very low glycemic index. So that's one great thing, but they will have a lot of energy afterwards, I just warn you. Another great thing is using that protein shake mix and mixing it with some coconut milk. We've got some delicious, nice, thick pudding. And the children love that one. And it's not out of a box. It's not full of sugar, preservatives, and all those other things I can't even pronounce. It's just made with fresh whole ingredients. Using the shake mix, making it fun. You go to the dollar store, you pick up some of those really cute popsicle holders. And all I do is I take my Vitamix or my blender, I mix the protein shake mix with some of the almond milk. I add some frozen bananas and frozen fruits. This one here is chocolate, and I use frozen banana, almond butter, my milk and my protein shake mix. I dump it into my little popsicle holders, throw it in the freezer. The kids go crazy. And I know they're getting something healthy. They're not getting dyes and sugar and whatever comes in those popsicles that you buy at the store. They're getting lots of protein to fuel their brains. This one I did strawberries. So I used the vanilla shake mix, fresh strawberries that I keep frozen. We use fresh seasonal fruit all the time. When it's not, we throw it in the freezer because that way it replaces ice cubes. I'm getting fresh frozen fruit. So that's a fun way. It makes it fun for the children. And like one of the ladies said before, when we make things, we like to involve the children because when they're involved in it, making it, they're more apt to eat it. So this here is ants on a log, and I know most of us have grown up with that, but it's one of those traditions we need to pass down to our children because it's good, healthy sodium. It's not salt on French fries. It's healthy sodium from our celery, our protein from our nut butter, and raisins. And then last but not least, we have our veggies in a 1/2 pint jar. I just put some dairy-free vegan salad dressing on the bottom, just a couple tablespoons to replace your typical MSG laden ranch. And we just have cherry tomatoes, celery sticks, and carrot sticks in there. And I just pack them in there, put your lid on, throw it in the fridge, and they can grab and go all they want. And that way, I know they're getting something healthy. They're not grabbing who knows what out of the refrigerator. Now, because of this, the veggies, that happens to be very near and dear to my heart. I am an organic vegetable farmer here in Missouri. And that brings me to my next topic, which is our tower garden. Now, a tower garden is basically a garden in a very small space. You can put them in a 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot space. So they're great for apartments, small places, decks. Anybody can do a tower garden. You don't have to be a farmer. It's aeroponics, it's not hydroponics. So basically what it is there's a pump in the bottom and it pumps the water all the way up through the tower and it waters the roots as it rains back down. You can grow up to 20 different fruits and vegetables in the basic package of these. I mean, you can grow year round. There's no excuse for anybody not growing their own food. And when you grow your own food, the food that you are literally taking from your tower, we call it tower to table, my children love it. They go and they pick our salad and it goes right to the table and we eat it right there. It doesn't get any better than that and it doesn't get any healthier than that. The food and the nutrients in that food are so readily available. They haven't been coming from a million miles away. We don't know when that was picked. And everybody's term of organic is something different depending on what country or what state you're from, it seems like these days. So I highly recommend people to check that out because the carbon footprint that's on our food should be much more closer to home than it is now. And with this, there's no dirt involved, no mess. You don't have to worry about little clods of dirt being all over your family room or something. They're grown in little rock wool cubes. They take very little water, very little space, and like I said, anybody can do it. The one thing is I highly recommend fresh fruits and vegetables for the snacks for the children. Try to eat seasonal, and by doing that, support your local farmers. Go to the farmers market because like I said, the closer you get your food to home, the more nutrient dense it is. And the least amount of nutrients it has in it, and that's kind of defeats the purpose when we're buying stuff from Mexico, Peru. By the time we get it, I don't know what we're getting. We're not getting much. And so if we're trying to get our children to eat different foods and fruits and vegetables, we need to give them something that they're going to get something from. So we're going to wrap this up now with Bonnie Schnautz, and she's going to close, and she's going to give you the free resources you've been waiting for.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Lisa. And hold on, let me, okay, sorry. Okay. So what, how I want to, again, my name is Bonnie Schnautz, and I'm another not only am I a mom on a mission, which my children are in their mid to late 20s, or almost 30s, I should say, but I am basically a woman on a mission for me, I eat all these things. My goal's a little bit different since I'm not feeding my children. I'm trying to slow the aging process, and that's really what these foods do. So these ladies have given us some wonderful tips. So we so appreciate this great information. It's really going to help all of us. So really the message that we share as Women on a Mission is that we want to take healthy back. That's the title. We're really on this mission to protect our children. We're protecting them from chronic disease. We're not looking for cures. We're about prevention. We're being proactive. We're not reacting. We truly believe that God created our bodies whole, and that given the appropriate resources, protecting our children from toxins can really, reducing that toxic load that we find in packaged processed food is really the answer. So we also focus on what's called the core four, and that is nutrition, exercise, hydration, and reducing our stress levels. You're thinking easier said than done, right? So we know that there's so many mom and dads out there that need help bridging the nutritional gap, and that's what we do. And a lot of the ways that we do it is using the Juice Plus family of products. So, we know 50% of the women right now, they're working moms. I was a working mom, and I was desperate for someone to have me, help me. And unfortunately, I didn't find out until my children were much older. But so really how we do that is, and I'll just share my story briefly. When I was in my 30s, I had a whole laundry list of health issues, and simply by changing my diet to predominantly organic, whole food, one by one, every health issue went away. So I understood the power of what these foods can do. And, with Juice Plus, we have a buy one, get one free program where if an adult buys it's a fruit, vegetable, berry, gluten-free grain blend that consists of 30 fruits and vegetables, the children get it absolutely free for 4 full years. So that's a phenomenal value. The products, again, are gluten-free, dairy-free, and non-GMO. And again, getting that free for 4 years is a huge value. Children between the ages of 4 and 26 are eligible. If they're over 18, they would need to be a full-time college student. And the Children's Health Study is the program that I'm referring to. And what it is, it's an observational study where we're tracking children's health. We want to see how they improve over time. And we know the results of these tests are amazing. We have, I believe, almost 1 million families involved in this Children's Health Study. And we've had our children on this when they were in their college years. So we know they miss less school. They are sick less, they eat better, again, and although that's very important from a time and money standpoint as parents, but what's more important is what is that saying about their immune systems? Their little bitty immune systems are stronger, and you really can't ask for anything better than that. So if you want to learn more about what we do, being a mom on a mission or a woman on a mission, we inspire healthy living. We really want to, get involved with what we're doing and educating. The company is, this company, the Juice Plus company, is located in the area of Memphis, Tennessee. So they're very local. The produce is all grown basically around the U.S. by small family farmers like Lisa, which I think is just so near and dear to my heart as far as, getting that fresh, local, vine-ripened produce into ourselves and into our children. So again, if you want to learn more about this, it's a virtual franchise. They even offer a full benefit package at the top position. And that's something that is really a rarity today, where you can work from home, be with your children, and receive a full benefit package and even children's partial tuition. So I want to get to the free resources that we promised you. So please write this down. Go to healthylivingrevolution.com. healthylivingrevolution.com, and you can download a free recipe book. It is fantastic. Oh my gosh, most of us have made a lot of the recipes in there, and they are absolutely delicious. I think all of them are pretty much the same, gluten-free, dairy-free, and made with whole foods. And there's also a children's activity book, and these are just resources to make your life a whole lot easier. So make sure you grab those resources. And just get with a person that invited you to learn more if you're interested in learning more about the products,
or about our virtual franchise, just please, we invite you to join us. So we want to thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I just want to thank the ladies again. They just did a fantastic job. When I saw them do this the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, I was just blown away. I just think it's such great information. Like I said, whether you have children or not, I find all these tips very useful as an adult, a busy adult. So again, I hope everyone has a great evening, and thank you everyone for joining us. And please continue to follow us as we share more great information and tools to make your life a little bit healthier. Okay? Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.